Hello. Again, it's late at night, and we're doing another one of these recordings. Pre-match. The upload posts a match, obviously. So this is Wild Card against Noah. And the thing about this Wild Card match is that Noah is my Week 1 opponent. And for people that didn't know, before Week 1, I had not played a match since April. So it had been over 8 months for me since I had played a match, and I got absolutely bodied, as you would probably expect. So now it's my chance to actually get revenge for that. And I have a bit better of a team, and I know a bit better how to approach this. So first off, how about we take a look at the tier 1s for a second. If Zapdos ran a flying move, I'm sorry, not Zapdos. Again, I'm sorry, it's late. I just want to point out that if I could lead these two T3s here, Mienshao and Aerodactyl, with just the coverage of Rock, Flying, and Fighting, it would cover all the T1s. Fighting for Tyranitar, Flying for Zapdos, and Rock for Rotom. You can keep going down the list. Rock can kill the Salamence. Rock can kill this Weevil. Flying can kill the Roserade. And Fighting can kill the T4s. It's seriously a threat to their team how much those two T3s are going to threaten their team. So, from this I made a decision. I'm going to formulate my team as a nuking team against this. Honestly, the speed tiers aren't great for this team, and don't have too many hyper bulky mons. So the more I'm able to nuke at the beginning and clean up after, the better I should be able to approach this game and get on the right foot. So we're going to get into the mons and individual sets now. Obviously, the timestamp for when the battle starts will be in the white space. And yeah, I'll start the team build now. So, we have Kartana, Mienshao, and Swampert on this first page. And we're running AV Cart, mainly because I kind of just want to run AV Cart. It's not going to be our main sweeper here, so I want it to be a little bit more survivable. Obviously running max special defense, decent amount of HP, not too much, a little bit of attack, tiny bit of defense, and enough speed to outspeed the base hundreds. And obviously, because I'm running AV, I have just a standard set. Aerial Ace for max flying if needed. You know how it is. But really, Kartana's here to take down that Tyranitar. It's there to take down the Gastrodon. Maybe even that Roserade. Really just get a lot of damage off at anything it needs to. It's gonna just fill in for whatever it needs to, alright? Then Mienshao. Mienshao has a vital role in my teams, like it has for the past couple weeks. Where this fake out close combat coaching, those three moves together just threaten a ton. Fake out because it just automatically supports the Dynamax mon next to it. Coaching so I can just boost hit, boost hit, boost hit over and over and over again. Close combat just to threaten anything with a devastating blow. And this week I'm running Brick Break. Mainly because in week 1, Morgrem ran screens. And I want to be sure that I can break those screens if needed. Also, The close combat I found on this set in particular with the rest of my team, often I don't want to take the defense drops. So if I can get some solid damage off without dropping my defense and keeping myself survivable for later, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to run Brick Break there instead. And over the EVs, not much, just outspeed to base hundreds, max attack after that, and just the rest of it goes into defense and then 4 in each. Also, it's Sash because why wouldn't you Sash your lead? Now I have Swampert. And Swampert is here really just to call their bluff because no one on their team except for Roserade has grass moves. So if I can bring this Swampert, it's automatically going to draw a lot of attention, even if I don't actually bring it to the match. So I can just leave it out round 1 and prep around the fact that if the Roserade is on their team, it's going to be brought. And if it's not, then they're going to desperately try to figure out. They're going to basically try to figure out how they're going to do as much damage as possible to that Swampert. So if I just have that Swampert in the back in the first place, I can at least ensure that it's there. So obviously a lot of defense because their special attackers can't hit me except for Roserade. And if Roserade isn't, if I'm not bringing it in it against a Roserade, I wouldn't even need to worry about it. And Life Orb, so I can do a little bit of extra damage. And Liquidation, Avalanche, Rock Tomb, Brick Break. Brick Break obviously for breaking screens, Rock Tomb because I want to make sure that if they lose a little bit of speed, it'll just make the nuking game even better for me. Avalanche because I know it's slow. And Liquidation because it's Liquidation. So now starting off the second page, we have Latias. And this is going to be a faster special attacking type sweeper. But really it's just going to get as much damage as possible to things that my main sweeper Aerodactyl can't still do because I'm running Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, Psychic. And also I'm running Energy Ball because Gastrodon exists and I want to have something to check it. And yeah, there's not much really to say here other than it's going to be the thing nuking. It's going to take out that Salamence when I can't anyway else. Or it can nuke, it's going to nuke one thing and get out, you know? Well, anyway, that's enough that there's not much you can say about that. Anything more than that. So now on to Aerodactyl. And first weird thing here is White Herb. White Herb is there because Salamence has Intimidate. And he's probably going to realize that my team is very physical, just like he did first week, and Intimidate Salamence was a really good counter against it. So it's probably going to be brought again. So White Herb Aerodactyl is just to protect my Aerodactyl from getting attack dropped. You know, just give it an extra turn of viability on the field. I'm running Rock Slide, Dual Wing Beat, Earthquake, Ice Fang. There's 4 moves. I could replace Earthquake with Protect, but I'm deciding to run all 4 because if it's going to be Dynamaxing like I plan to do so, it's going to be hitting literally everything. I don't think there's a single thing on that team that will resist one of these moves. And if I can't hit for super effective, I can hit for a buff to myself. So that's going to be pretty nice. Also, this speeds everything on their team outside of Scarf. Max attack other than that. And same philosophy behind the Man Shao. Also, I would like to mention that in weeks past, I haven't really talked about the ability Unnerve. And this week, I don't really know how much it's going to play into this. However, I do need to think that it's very important for me to keep in mind. Because last week, against Ryan, had it been Sugarberry Raikou, a nerve would have been the reason that we would have killed with Max Quake anyway. Now, it's really important that I have a nerve just to make sure that no resist berries work against this Aerodactyl, or against that Mian Shao. If I can get a close combat off of that Tyranitar while Aerodactyl is here, there's going to be no berry that's going to stop it. So it's purely based off of how much you can do without any drops, and not including, protect, those sorts of things. So it's pretty nice to have that. So finally, just moving on to the last mon, Klefki, Lagging Tail, and Magic Room. Now, okay, the thing about this is that I didn't know much what I wanted to do with Klefki, other than I wanted Magic Room, and I wanted to have Lagging Tail Switcheroo. Because my idea is, if I have Klefki, it's game 2, right? Nuking worked first time, they're gonna try to find a way to shut it down. So if I bring Klefki and shut it down with this Lagging Tail, or shut down whatever their counter is with this Lagging Tail, it'll put me in a really good spot. Also Magic Room, because that it prevents any item-based strategies. I can use it against the Tyranitar, and it'll act like it'll act like an embargo for the entire field. So with this Magic Room, it'll prevent weakness policies, so it'll prevent sashes, all those sorts of things. And it may be bad against things like my Mian Shao. This can be really good for the nuking aspect of things. And so finally Reflect, because a lot of what they can do to me is physical, Dazzling Gleam with a lot of special attack investment, because it's Dazzling Gleam, There's nothing you can do wrong with the Dazzling Gleam. Also, the EVs are highly armored because I can't really calc anything for defensively, so a lot of special attack. Anyway, I will see you in the in the actual battle recording now, in 2 days after this is finished, Anyway, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Report back to you then. So, what a match this was. Also, I'm gonna let you know right now, I have this moving at 1.5 times speed, because some of it had corrupted, some of the footage corrupted, and there were some still frames in there that honestly didn't really work out, so I'm gonna have to explain what happened in those for you. So anyway, first off, I see no Roserade. Yeah, so I'm just auto-locking my set lead for at least round 1 of Arrow and Mian Shao Swampert, because there's no check for it. I'm thinking Latias here because it provides a special attacker against this team, and also there's just a lot of coverage that I can do. So anyway, I'm feeling pretty confident going into this round 1, but also kind of scared because my last experience with this team was not great. So anyway, match starts. And they lead T-Tar Zapdos. I'm seeing this and I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to take out Zapdos somehow. And I know from my calcs that the only way I can guarantee KO Zapdos is to hit a max flying into it, and that only works if it doesn't max itself. And I'm also thinking, well, there's no way it's Sash, so I'm thinking I'm gonna fake out into the T-Tar, because if Zapdos is playing to max here, not T-Tar if it's this lead. So T-Star withdraws, I see Morcom come out. I know that's definitely going to be a supportive set. I just don't know how supportive it's going to be compared to its attacking power. And Arrow maxes. And Zapdos maxes. So I'm knowing here that the fact that Zapdos max means I'm not going to take it out in one turn. And Mienshao does some good chip to Morgrem. And the amount of damage done to the Zapdos here is pretty good, in my opinion. Also, I'm seeing that Max Air Stream into Mienshao kind of just kills it. So I'm not feeling great about having Mienshao around anymore. So yeah, Mienshao goes down to the sand. This is where the corruption starts coming in, yeah. I should probably make sure my PC is all running well before I do another recording. But anyway, I'm breaking here because I know I need to get that screen out of the way. Or, actually no, I decided not to. I decided to go to get guaranteed damage to Zapdos because the Brick Break isn't going to come out before my max air does. And basically, I just want to make sure I kill Zapdos this turn no matter what. So I'm kind of ignoring the Morgrem here. So of course, this goes into our first free train of the game. I have no clue how long this is going to last, but I do know what happens is that Zapdos max guards, Morgrem goes for a light screen. Alright, so after taking a look at what happens, next turn what happens is that I max air into Zapdos again, and it goes down to a crit, and I break onto a Morgrem that uses the light screen. So I break both those, and I believe I get the kill off into Morgrem, but I'm not sure. No, I don't. So it's left with the HP that you see there, and of course Zapdos, or should I say not Zapdos, Arrow gets out of max, and it's against T-Tar and Swampert. So I believe what I go for here is Earthquake, and I believe it's a Brick Break on a Morgrem, because I wanted to... It's one of those two, but anyway, what happens is that Morgrem goes down to... Take a look at my notes, I think it's the Earthquake, but T-Tar protects. And I decide I'm going to switch out my Arrow. Or no, I don't switch out. I tried figuring out what I had. But I believe what I do here is I Rock Slide and I Liquidation into the Rotom. That's it. Or is it Liquidation into the Rotom or Liquidation into the T-Tar? I think it's the T-Tar, because I had enough to deal with the Rotom. So again, sorry for the freezes here, but what happens is Earthquake comes out, does a lot of chip, Liquidation finishes off the T-Tar, Swampert gets that kill, and now, just to get a head count, Swampert kills Tyranitar, Aerodactyl kills Zapdos versus Max, and Aerodactyl also killed the Morgrem. Oh wait, sorry, the Morgrem's out. The Morgrem switched out for the Rotom, so I think what I do here is I Rock Slide and I get the kill onto both, I believe. Yeah. I Rock Slide twice, my bad. So, going into round 2, again, sorry for the corruption. I decided I want to play... I don't want to bring Mienshao in the front here because it's going to die immediately. So I think I want to run Klefki here so I can get some more support. And I think I run Klefki, Arrow, Latias, Swampert. And I leave Mienshao and Kartana. Yeah. Also, I do want to say that at the end of game 1, the Rotom Heat revealed it had Protect and Nasty Plot. I also know 3 of Morgan's moves being Fake Out and Light Screen. I don't know much about T-Tar here, other than it has Protect. And it does not have Weakness Policy, because I was able to hit it with enough super effective attacks that it didn't kill. Or that it didn't proc, rather. So, T-Tar Morcrum, both Dark types, so Klefki can't do anything here except for Dazzling Gleam, but it's probably going to die anyway. So I believe I switch it out here. That's what I'm thinking. I want to switch it out. And I think I just want to get as much damage off on that T-Tar as possible, so I max Quake into it. I didn't really have anything better to do here, right? I'm not in a great lead, and most I can do is reposition to get a better turn 2. So that's what I'm playing for by getting the Swampert in. So of course my Aerodactyl maxes, like I always max it. And T-Tar goes for the max. And I will say that this play here is very well played by Noah. They did a good job of assessing the threat and shutting me down early here. Because T-Tar goes for... Actually no, we get the fake out into Swampert, which is good for me because at least I was able to reposition that and it didn't get much value. And the Quake does absolutely nothing, so I'm thinking it's a very bulky physical set. Max HP, max defense possibly. But then the Rockfall comes out and it gets the KO onto Arrow, spoiler alert. Which is good by them because I did realize that I had the focus sash on the Mian Chao. And well, shoot. I believe I go for it here as I switch in my whatever my fourth one is, my Latias. Yeah, I switch in my Latias. I go Energy Ball and Brick Break into the T-Tar. But Latias gets max darked into. But I did get the chip off onto the T-Tar as well as get rid of the screens. Whereas I think also what could have happened, I'm not entirely sure, I don't remember off the top of my head, is that Gastrodon switches in for Morcrum. But that's as far as I recall at this moment, because I'm watching everything that you're seeing right here live, like as it happens, as it shows up on your screen, I'm responding to it with my comm. So I will stop this here and I'll come back. Turns out most of this game gets corrupted, so I'm sorry about that. T-Tar goes down, and Morcrum keeps setting backup screens. I think Gastrodon goes for Protect, because last turn it got Aegon off onto Swampert, and I Dazzling Gleamed and Brick Breaked into the Gastrodon. So Morcrum is at 1 HP? Sorry. Yeah, Morcrum goes down to the Dazzling Gleam. Rotom comes in. And now all I can really do is Dazzling Gleam? Or no, I think I switcheroo into the Rotom. And then I try to get a, what's it called? A Rock Tomb into it. But no, sorry, I Dazzling Gleam. And so that's why I a bad place here. Overeat comes out. And Gastrodon uses Recover. And honestly, at this point, I don't have a win con, I'm just playing for differential. And playing to figure out what's going on next round. So I believe I just spam Rock Tomb into Rotom. Uh, Rotom doesn't go down even. It nasty plots, then goes for an overheat to get the KO, as you're seeing right here. Also, Gastrodon is scalding and gets a scald burn after this. So you see, Rotom gets a pretty big amount of damage dealt to it. Anyway, yeah, I lose this 2-0. Sorry about the poor video quality. And we'll get you into the round 3 because you already know what happens this game and it's not worth watching. Alright, so game 3. I'm realizing that Plucky is not a good move, but I've got a lot of dark types and it's just not worth it, especially if Morgrim's going to be its mainstay. So I decided that I really can't deal with that Gastrodon again. So I want to make sure that it probably has Rindoberry, by the way. That's what I'm thinking here. So I want to gotta be sure that Rindoberry does not get procced. So I lead Aerodactyl Kartana. And Swampert, of course, this is a given. Latias because of its coverage. I decided, right here, I'm just hovering because I want to make sure that I'm not losing anything by keeping Mienshao out. But I'm realizing that Mienshao isn't good if it's not a lead. And I've got enough fighting coverage anyway without it. As well as a Brick Break user on Swampert. So game 3 starts. And I see the Morgrim and Gastrodon here, and I know this is hard support, but also gives me a perfect opportunity to take down that Gastro. So I believe I use Rock Slide here just so I can get some chip off onto what's happening, maybe get a Morgrim flinch, I don't know. And I'm maxing my Kartana and using an Overgrowth into Gastro because I want to make sure it doesn't get Fake Out used on it. Because if I get Fake Out Yawn, that kind of kills it. So this is probably my foolproof play of making sure I kill Gastrodon round 1. Right. Or sorry, turn 1. So I do see here that no, it does recognize my condition that I'm playing for. It does go for the Fake Out onto the Kartana, which is a good play by them because if I didn't respond with the Dynamax, then they would have been in a good spot, and they probably did go for the Yawn there. However, they weren't able to get it off because Overgrowth does come out. Rindoberry will not proc because of Unnerve, and Gastrodon goes down. And of course, Kartana does get a Beast Boost off, and a little bit of healing. And now my entire game plan is, now that I've nuked the hard support, I gotta figure out how I'm going to respond to what they have in the back. They bring in Rotom. I'm thinking, okay, I can Rock Slide just to get some good chip off. And I don't have much. I'm thinking I can kill the Morgrim, but Morgrim isn't gonna do much here. It doesn't have much against me. I can Max Knuckle into the Rotom and support my arrow by getting an attack boost. And if it gets the attack boost, further Rock Slides are gonna work. So that's what I go for. I go for the Rotom with the Max Knuckle. And of course Rotom maxes, which is a good play by them because they see that the Rotom is their win con, because if they can take out my arrow and they can take out my cart, I'm down to 2. So they're in a good position. Reflect comes out, which is also good for them because I don't have a Brick Break user on the field. And a little bit of chip comes out on the Rotom. It's not much though. It's not enough for it to really matter. And the Max Knuckle comes out. Again, not much to matter, but at least it's chip. And a Max Lightning does come out onto Aero. Takes that out, so no more Rock Slides are going to get hit into it. Which is probably good for their positioning, because it means I have to deal with Kartana and having nothing really to respond to the Rotom in one spot. And really only be able to respond to Rotom with one of my 2 slots. So again, good play from them. But I bring out the Swampert here, which nothing can do anything to. And I believe I decided I'd run the Rock Tomb into the Rotom because a Max Flare would kind of like... Yeah, a Max Flare would ruin the... Actually no, that's what I'm kind of contemplating here. I'm trying to go Liquidation, Rock Tomb, or Brick Break. Because Liquidation will be nullified by Max Flare if they go for Max Flare. Rock Tomb will lower their speed, but it doesn't do this much damage. And it can miss. And Brick Break will break this Reflect, but I don't know if I want to do that. So anyway, I go for the Liquidation. I go for the Max Knuckle. Morgrem comes out. And in comes T-Tar. And I feel kind of good about the fact that Sandstream is up. So as long as they don't reset it with Sun, I'm good. But then the Max Guard comes out, and well, of course it kind of gives them a free, what's it called? It gives them a free turn and a switch in. However, it does allow Swampert a bit more, a bit more freedom against this Rotom. So I Brick Break into the Tyranitar. I Sacred Sword into the Tyranitar, I believe, because I just want to get that thing out, because I at least have responses to the Rotom after it gets out of Dynamax. The T-Tar comes out and into Morgrem, so I believe they're trying to use Morgrem as a bait here, just so they can get a Tyranitar endgame. So of course, the Max Flare does come out, kill the Kartana, finally. But because I doubled into the T-Tar slot, Morgrem does come out and it resets Sun once Tyranitar will come in, which is good positioning for my Swampert because then I can spam Liquidations. Also, I get rid of the Reflect as I do that at the same time, and I'm able to send in Latias in the 2v2 versus the Swampert. Not versus the Swampert, versus the T-Tar and Rotom. Also, Rotom is going to go to regular sized Rotom, and not Dynamax. So I'm thinking here that I can easily just kill it with a Draco, and I'm feeling fine. But just in case I don't, I'm going to Liquidation into that slot. And this is really just for my my sanity's sake, because I can deal with the Tyranitar with my Swampert any day of the week. It's just the Rotom can do a lot with its Nasty Plot Overheat combo. I don't want to deal with that, so as long as Rotom doesn't protect here, I'm feeling alright. However, I'm getting a lot of anxiety at this moment because if Rotom does protect, they get a kill off onto Latias. That's kind of their game win, so I'm putting it on a pretty risky play, I'm going to be honest. And I probably shouldn't have made it this risky, I didn't have to if I had done my calcs. But I don't know how long this is going to go, but basically what happens is Rotom didn't protect, Draco comes out, kills the Rotom, Liquidation comes out, and I believe it one-shots the T-Tar. That is game. This is the rest of the corrupted footage from here, so again, I'm very sorry for the corruption. You don't get to see the full match played out how it was. I hope I did a good enough job of describing it to you with audio. However, yeah, that was my game. Well played from well played from Noah. There were a few turns where they could have figured out my win con and addressed it. Uh, Generally well played and putting themselves in great positions and trying to put me into bad ones. I guess I think it was more of a prep thing that really put me in the best spot. So yeah, thank you for having me this season. I'm now going into my first playoff match of this league against Matt, which is going to be my second Rust Redemption game, I guess. Yeah, I hope to see you then.